Hey you guys, so back again with another message. This message is based upon a dream, and God is dealing with a lot of people in the spiritual courts concerning you. I'm gonna repeat that again. God is dealing with a lot of people in the spiritual courts concerning you. In the dream I saw where a lot of people were in the spiritual courts going before God because of how they are attacking you, and they have no legal grounds to do so. They're coming before God with false accusations. They're coming before God with lies to try to give them a reason or legal grounds to attack you. And God is doing a lot of questioning when it comes to that, because God is omnipotent. He's all knowing, and he sees all, and he knows all, and they're trying to find fault against you so they can have legal grounds to attack you. Again, a curse without cause shall not come. So now they're making up false accusations so they can have a cause, right? Making up lies so they can have a cause, or trying to say that just trying to be, how some people do you wrong, and then they try to make an excuse that you did something to them, so that's why they did what they did. That's pretty much what it is. And what God was showing me in the spirit when it came to this was, it was like warlock. It was a warlock that I saw, but I know witches and warlocks are doing it, and I know it's witchcraft because it was like a darkness around the person. And then when God started questioning the person, you should have seen the person's face. And then I was telling them in the dream, I'm like, well, you have no legal ground to do that. Why are you doing this? Because you have no legal ground to do this. So that's why some of you guys might have like experience like attacks from like people that you like no longer talk to. Now they all of a sudden like want to pop up and want to start a little argument, or want to try to get you upset so they can have an open door to attack you, because again, a curse without cause shall not come. And so some of y'all have been peeping game, and like a lot of y'all have been fasting, y'all have been praying, y'all have been cutting ties, y'all have been blocking people, y'all have been doing what y'all need to been doing, y'all have been repentant. And y'all, that's why it's so important that we live a daily life of repentance. We must always live a daily life of repentance. And so the devil has to have permission when it comes to attacking you. And like some people try to attack you illegally and it don't work and it backfires. And then some people, find legal grounds to attack you, right? They do stuff so they can have a legal ground to attack you. And so what I was reminded of was the story of Job, and how the devil had to go before God and get permission when it comes to Job, because Job was highly protected, because Job had a hedge of protection around him. The devil even told God that. And because a lot of you guys have a hedge of protection around you, they're trying to find clauses, false clauses against you, or false causes against you, I'm sorry y'all, so they can have a legal ground to attack you. And this also ties into the message that God had shown me in a dream, where God was saying a lot of your family members and things of that nature, enemies had, God was giving them a 30-day notice. And so the 30-day notice must be up for me to have this dream last night. And I told you guys in that video that I believe the 30-day notice was going to be up by the end of November. And so we're towards the end of November. And so with that being said, a lot of them is having to go before God, and God is dealing with them in the spiritual courts concerning you. Some of them had even tried to take it to extreme levels. That's why you were like feeling the attempts of a lot of attacks back to back to back, but you weren't feeling the full effects. We can still feel the attempts, but we don't feel the full effects. Because like I said, it's like a hedge of protection. God got a hedge of protection around you. And a lot of you guys have been praying daily, like living a life of repentance daily. We should live a life of repentance daily. We should pray daily and stuff like that, and ask God to restore in us clean hands and a pure heart daily. And a lot of y'all have been doing that, and that's been making y'all hedge of protection strong. Y'all watching how y'all live, like y'all really like a lot of guys, people, like I said, I'm noticing they don't love God for real. But then you got a select few that love God for real, and they're like, okay, God, we know we in the end times. I want to live right. I want to live holy, because holiness is a lifestyle. And a lot of y'all have been doing it, and it's been making the enemy, it's been making it hard for the enemy to attack you, and it's also been making your enemies angry, because they are going, like I said, in the spiritual realm and attacking you illegally because they know you're on a verge of a breakthrough. They know that God is elevating you and these different things of that nature. Because we got to understand, you do have people that will tap into the spiritual realm illegally to get access or try to get access to you to see what's going on. And when that don't work, they send monitoring spirits. When that don't work, they try to send old people to come back. That's why you got to be very, very careful. But God is dealing with a lot of people concerning you in the spiritual courts during this season, during this hour. And a lot of people, y'all, they're reaping their actual harvest, their fruit of their labor, which has been like sowing demonic seeds, sowing seeds of witchcraft. They're getting it back. And that's, like I said, why y'all was like feeling like attacks back to back to back to back. It's because God has you like protected, but they're going and they're trying to do more attacks and more warfare attempts because that stuff is going back. Again, a curse without cause shall not come. So when that curse tries to come and it find no cause, it has to go back and it has to collect. And when it goes back to them, it's like 10 times worse, 7 times worse. And they have to deal with that. And so instead of them saying, okay, repenting, asking God for forgiveness, they're getting madder at you because they're thinking that you're into the witchcraft and stuff too, when you are not. That stuff is just going back and collecting. That's why we're not supposed to be dipping and dabbing in that, because the devil don't play fair. If he can't collect if those spirits can't go out and collect what they were sent to collect, they're gonna go out and collect something. And I told you guys before about like the princess Tiana with Shadow Man, how that spirit couldn't, how those different monitoring spirits couldn't go out and collect what Shadow Man had promised them. So it came back and collected Shadow Man at the end. That stuff is real, y'all. So God is dealing with a lot of people in the spiritual courts concerning you. And thank you, Spirit. And this is some of y'all family members. They had went out and they had paid different witches and warlocks to attack you because they don't want nobody to know it's them. They want to make it seem like they're not involved or they haven't did anything, or they want to appear innocent. But once God get finished dealing with that warlock or that witch, he about to deal with them. That's why I said God was serving a lot of 30-day notices. And he showed me the family members. And that's why I said, like, if God was telling y'all during the holiday season and stuff, stay to yourself. Don't go around them, because God is really about to deal with them. So we're about to really see like them go through some things, and some of the things they're going to go through is the same that they were trying to put on you. So if you were seeing in the spirit how people was trying to make you broke, busted, and disgusted, how people was trying to make you sick, how people was trying to really take you out of here, like they wanted you gone, they wanted you to be homeless, they wanted all these different things, they didn't want you to get married, they didn't want you to bear children. You're going to start to see a lot of them go through some of these same things that they didn't want you to have. That's why you got to be very, very careful, y'all. I'm telling y'all, we shouldn't be dealing with witchcraft, period. But people are really going to reap the fruit of their labor because of what they are doing. When you sow bad seeds, you get a bad harvest. When you sow good seeds, you get a good harvest. They about to get their bad harvest. You don't do stuff like that. And then you want to sit up here and want to hide and then want to say that, you know, you love God and you a Christian and the third, but you still dipping and dabbing in witchcraft. You can't serve two masters. You got to have one or the other. And so God is dealing with a lot of people in the spiritual courts concerning you. It's not going to be pretty, y'all. I'm going to be honest. It's not going to be pretty. Pray for them, because when that stuff starts to go back, sometimes it don't hit them directly. It hits their children. So pray for them. Say, for instance, someone has been doing witchcraft to try to lock up your womb so you won't bear children, or to keep you from getting married. Okay, that stuff might go back and attack their marriage if they're married. That stuff might go in if they're not married and their children are married. That's going to go back and attack their children and their marriage. See what I'm saying? So pray for them. But God is dealing with a lot of people in the spiritual courts concerning you. He doesn't take those type of things lightly, especially when you are innocent, especially when you being about your Father's business, especially when you know that God is trying to use you in this season. All right. And they're trying to cause a lot of delay to keep you from moving to where God is calling you to be. Okay, so I love you guys. I pray that you all have an amazing day, and I will chat with you all later.